Hello ladies and gentlemen, I have another new dinosaur for you guys today. Possibly. There's a lot of drama surrounding this guy. So, recently pulled out of the Myanmar amber mines was this little golden beautiful piece of amber with something stuck inside. And when a scientist took a closer look, they noticed that it was the mummified skull of some sort of animal. They decided it was a bird. Now the thing about this mummified skull is it was tiny. Like itsy bitsy teeny weeny super duper duper tiny. I'm talking 14 millimeters long, like fits on your fingernail. This little skull also had 23 teeth, including some that went all the way back underneath its eye, which is really unusual. So this itsy bitsy teeny weeny skull, huge eyes, big round crazy eyes, decent skull casing, bird. But there were some weird things about this bird skull. One being that the little bones around its eye, which are kept in place because it's a mummified skull in the amber, where do I start? Okay, so dinosaurs and birds and lizards and some other things have actual bony ridges inside of their eye to give it structure because they have unusually large eyeballs. In dinosaurs and birds, these are made up with square plates, where in other creatures like lizards, they're made out of spoon-shaped plates. Now, this little bird had spoon-shaped plates in its eyeball circle, because I'm great with terminology. So that was really weird to begin with. And then, it's also missing what was it called? Antorbital fenestra. An antorbital fenestra is a hole in the nose, that shows up in a ton of dinosaurs that eventually other creatures kind of evolved out of, like lizards don't have it, and Drepanomorphs don't have it. Don't worry, I'll get back to the Drepanomorphs. Oh my god, it's the coolest discovery. Personal discovery for me. But the antorbital fenestra is a hole that dinosaurs and some birds have, and it's... Think about the skull of a T-Rex, you know that giant gaping space in the middle? That's the antorbital fenestra. It's not connected to the nose or the eyes or anything like that, it's just a hole in the face. This bird didn't have that hole in its face. It had a nose hole, and an eyeball hole, and a mouth hole. That's it. And, I mean, it wasn't a hole in the face when they were fleshy, it was just, you know what I'm trying to say. So 14 millimeters long, antorbital fenestra. Most of its bones are fused together, showing that it was an adult and not a baby. And spoon-shaped eyeball rings. Scleral rings, that's what it's called, scleral rings. A lot of these things tell us it's not a bird. But the scientist who discovered it insisted it was a bird. In fact, called it Oculudentavis. So, eyeball tooth bird. So we have this itsy bitsy teeny weeny bird, but not bird, maybe bird? Skull. So there's been a lot of discussion on, obviously, is it actually a bird? Is the person who found it lying out their butt? What's going on? And the other things that it could be are the Lepidosaur, which is like lizards and snakes, and mosasaurs. A lot of the features kind of point in that direction because there's all like the antorbital fenestra and the scleral rings and stuff like that lean towards that type of animal. I mean, even the head kind of looks like a plesiosaur and an ichthyosaur. Is that in the same family? I don't know. They're all aquatic. But anyway. And then there's another option for the Drepanosaurus. Oh my god, guys. Drepanosaurus are the most beautiful creation by biology I've ever seen. And if you were just to look at one, you would wonder if it was put together correctly, but then they have a fossil of one that's kind of like smushed together. And they're beautiful. I know I'm drawing one right now. It's the creature to the right but I also want to paint you a word picture. So if any of you guys ever seen a pangolin, it's a little scaly armadillo-like creature from Asia or Africa? Africa. And when the pangolin walks around, he walks on his hind legs and kind of has this cute little Tyrannosaurus walk because he's got big claws in the front, and it's super cute. So imagine a body shape kind of like that, where it's got little tiny back legs, and it's got hunched shoulders, and it's got a big claw hand. Following me so far? Now their hands almost are blunted, like the toes aren't very long, and then there's this giant claw, like huge, taking up most of their hand. They have a huge hump, like Quasimodo hump on their shoulders, probably connecting a lot of muscular tissue for climbing. They're thought to have been arboreal, living in trees. Generally a longer neck and lizard-like features. And then the weirdest part is they've got this long, fat, thick, most likely prehensile tail that has a giant spike at the end of it for climbing. Just directly on the end. Boop! How cool is that? Again, I know I'm drawing one, but like, that description is so unlike so many other things. And you know all about dinosaurs, and you recognize, what an ankylosaurus looks like, and what a triceratops looks like, and the Drepanosauromorphs aren't dinosaurs. They're their own thing. But I don't know why. They're so cute. And they're like one of my favorite things. And if you have time, you need to sit down and Google Drepanosauromorph. And no. I will leave a link below so you can look at art of Drepanosauromorphs on Google. Because I'm sure you don't know how to spell it. Because I didn't for a long time. And I still don't. I have to look it up. I keep wanting to call it Drepanosaurus. Like derpy. Anyways, they're amazing, and I love them, and I want to hug them forever. Let's get back to Oculudentavis. So there's this whole discussion, is Oculudentavis a Lepidosaur or Drepanosauromorph or a avian dinosaur? And people are getting grumpy and hullabaloo and drama. To add to the drama, there's been... Not to add to it, just to give you an example of the drama. Here's a comment about it by a paleontologist by the name of Brian Chu that I stumbled across on the internet. The Chinese vet paleo community has gone nuclear over the recent Oculudentavis Nature paper, in particular regarding the academic integrity of the lead author, Linda Xing. Xing has reacted very angrily to claims questioning the avian identity of the fossil. A number of highly troubling allegations regarding the manuscript and the specimen in question have also surfaced. I made some inquiries and got this response from a professional Chinese vertebrate paleontologist who I have worked with closely, and which I repost here with his permission, with English citations. Hi Brian. I assure you the Oculudentavis khaungraae paper and matters arising. The whole thing is a joke, and I feel sorry for the Jing the corresponding author of the paper, and Henry, the senior editor for Nature. The first author, Linda Xing, is a total asshole, crook, and liar, and a fucking piece of junk. He did next to nothing to contribute to the actual paper, but instead introduced them to the amber owner and assured the other co-authors that the specimen was avian with the images he provided. He knows of other possibly conspecific specimens that clearly preserve a lizard-like postcranial anatomy long before the paper was accepted, yet chose not to inform Jing until very last minute, after she had recorded her now widely publicized statements in support of the discovery. He is now questioned by the entire Chinese vertipaleo research community, and additional responses from prominent researchers condemning the Nature paper will be published soon. He has reacted savagely and the bad academic press, especially the recent Wang et al. Statement, is highly critical of his work, and has been using his social media following as a popular science communicator to harass and threaten several of those authors. He claims to his social media followers that his work is being targeted by big shots and academic lords from the IVPP. Obviously, this doesn't even touch on the huge ethical question of the exploitative methods of how Myanmar amber is collected. Tell anyone you know to never, ever collaborate with this scumbag. Oh, I love nerd drama. Oh, science drama is particularly fun. Dino drama. So yeah, there's a lot of arguments on this being a bird, not being a bird, and generally people are on the stance of it's not a bird, except the guy who said it was a bird in the first place. Now, at the end of this, it mentioned the issues of the Myanmar, and I feel like I have to say something about that too. In Myanmar, there's these wonderful amber mines, and I probably should tell you guys where amber comes from, because not everyone watching this might know. So let me rewind a second. So amber is created when a prehistoric tree has released a thick, sticky sap, and something gets caught in that sap. It hardens, and then eventually, over lots of time and lots of pressure, turns to a beautiful stone-like object, crystal thing. I'm sure I'm saying something wrong, so I just listed everything. You probably are familiar with amber from Jurassic Park, because it's the stuff that the mosquito stuck in. Anyway, so we have been finding lots of really cool discoveries, insects that have never been discovered before, lizards, dinosaur tails, and other specific things from small creatures that have been stuck in the amber, fossilized still with feathers and scales and all the other bits. And it's been great for science. It's been so cool. New things are coming out every day. But there's a moral quandary involved. And the Myanmar amber mines are notorious for horrendous human rights violations. People dying constantly in the mines, digging. There's no protections, there's no safety. Lots of death is happening for these bits of amber. And it's not just for the paleontological community. They sell the amber for jewelry and other things like that, but the paleontological dinosaur community isn't innocent either, because a vertebrate found in amber is worth a lot of money. Like $10,000 for a vertebrate in amber. And that money goes to continue to fund more human rights violations. And to make it even worse, it's child labor-based human rights violations, because children can climb into smaller holes and dig deeper for amber. And it's awful. And it's sad. And it brings to question, should we continue to encourage this by looking for specimens there and buying specimens from them? But also, what happens to those specimens if science doesn't buy them? And here's the moral quandary. I mean, there's lots of there's some scientific journals who are wanting to stop publishing anything that was discovered in Myanmar, to discourage scientists from going there and buying amber, because I mean, they want their touch of fame too, and that's part of the issue. There's a lot of paleo artists out there who refuse to draw anything that came from the amber mines in their own way of protest. And I myself had already drawn most of this picture before I found this out. And I don't know how I feel about it, because science continues on. There's lots of things in human history that is incredibly helpful to medical science and other things that began in horrible, horrible situations that never should have happened in the first place. I don't know. I think moving forward, the least anyone could do is continue to tell people about the Myanmar Amber mines and the human rights violations and make sure people are educated, like a little bit of subtext to everything that's found. And I feel like the paleontological community should push for better rights for workers, but I don't know how they do that. I don't know myself how anything should work. Because it's wonderful, it's science, it's cool, but is it worth more than people's lives? I really don't think so. But also, if it's already sitting there dug up in somebody's closet, shouldn't we get to know about it? No? I don't know. Anyway, going from fun drama to sad. I hope you guys liked today's video. I know right there at the end I didn't paint the coloring of the black background, but I needed to have my face so close to it to make sure I didn't paint over something I shouldn't, because I was just straight up using my India ink that I was terrified of just like smudging over something and ruining it forever. So I didn't record that part. I'm sorry. I'm considering taking all the footage for this and releasing a version of this video with no audio, or maybe just some random music track that goes for the whole length, like real time. I know a lot of people are stuck at home, and maybe someone would be interested in watching that. It took me about 2 hours, probably more including the black, but like I said, I didn't film the black part. And let me know if you have any interest in that. Tell me your opinions on the paleo drama, and what do you think should be done about Myanmar? Alright, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Also, wash your hands.